Here's the thing about records. More often than not, they get smashed in the face by some overambitious punk ready to skydive off Burj Khalifa balancing an atom on a spoon under the moonlight. Beat that. But not always. Some records are so seriously motivated in their intention to stay unsullied that even attempting to break them should be some sort of a crime. These records make a freakish set of achievements that can make basic records feel cold and unwanted. In this set of Top Trending, we're going to show you a bunch of impossible feats, from the record for the most records held by one person to the one for the most atomic blasts survived. Do not attempt to break any of the following records without the supervision of exceptional experts. As the World Fitness Endurance Champion, you would expect Paddy Doyle to pack a boatload of records under his belt, but the one that's been the most heavily recognized is his record for the most one-arm push-ups completed in 5 hours. Dare to guess how many Paddy crammed into those 300 minutes? An imperceptible count of 5,260 continuous repetitions. Now that is one record no son of a gun in their right mind would want to mess with. A former member of the British Parachute Regiment, Doyle entered the Guinness Book of World Records as an athlete in 1987. Since then, he has dislodged over 100 records from the top position. You can tell this man is a fitness freak by the simple fact that he also holds the record for the maximum number of push-ups in a year, averaging over 4,100 push-ups in a day. Paddy hit an astonishing 1.5 million push-ups a year. The challenge also involved a high volume of psychological pressure, as the Guinness World Record reps surrounded Doyle's routine for the whole year. Attempt to break this record only if you can manage to handle the attention that comes with forearms that ripped. We genuinely hope no one ever gets to break this record, for if this one breaks, the world as we know it will break with it. Tsutomu Yamaguchi is the only one among the estimated 110 billion people that have ever walked the earth to have survived 2 atomic blasts. Yes, Yamaguchi was not only present in both the Japan bombings, but heroically managed to survive both blasts. A resident of Nagasaki, Yamaguchi was an employee of Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. He was on a business trip to Hiroshima when the city was bombed on August 6, 1945. Most residents had their fate sealed with the first explosion, but Yamaguchi survived with minor wounds. He traveled back to Nagasaki the next day and even showed up to work on August 9th, the day the second bomb was detonated on Nagasaki. It was as late as 2009 that the Japanese government recognized Yamaguchi's presence and survival in both the bombings. Tsutomu Yamaguchi passed away of stomach cancer at the age of 93 in January 2010. At least 70 people's names are featured in the list of sufferers of both the bombings, but only Tsutomu Yamaguchi is officially recognized as the survivor in both the bombings. When I was a kid, I dreamed of flying in an airplane and going around the world. When this guy was a kid, all he wanted to do was arm wrestle a truck and jumpstart airplanes using his body only. No kidding. Fast has the amazing record of pulling an airplane for 8.8 meters by tying it to his body. With a weight of 188.83 tons, this plane stood like a behemoth in the backdrop while Fast was getting himself strapped. Honestly, we did not think the plane would move an inch, until it did, and then some more. In fact, Kevin said that he had the ability to have gone much farther if it wasn't for the finish line. It had started raining quite steadily by the time Kevin was pulling, but this man was never going to stop. Kevin Fast has 5 weight-pulling world records to his name and is satisfied with his job as a priest. Will you break Kevin's record? Maybe. Will you break your shoulder bones while trying to do it? Very probably. This record here shows what happens when you choose a job that has park in the title. Roy Sullivan worked at the Shenandoah National Park, Virginia as a park ranger. During his stay at the park, lightning met him not once, not twice, not thrice, but the spiritual number of 7 times. The real miracle was that Sullivan survived each of these 7 hits. Live evidence of such occurrences was virtually impossible to produce, so the Guinness World Records recognized Sullivan's feat after carefully documenting the details of each of the 7 incidents. In one of these incidents, the lightning bolt deflected off a tree and struck him through an open window of the truck. The lightning was so fierce that it burnt almost every hair on his body and the truck right on the edge of a cliff. Another of these incidents etched in Sullivan's memory is the time when a fierce storm cloud was following him. He was struck by lightning just when he was convinced that he had outran the cloud and stepped out of the truck. The charge crawled through his body and set his hair on fire. The gutsy ranger put it off with a can of water which was in his truck. Monsieur Mangetot translates to Mr. Eat It All. That's Michael Lotito from Grenoble, France. He is on our list today for consuming almost everything that's around. Metal bolts and screws, bikes, an entire Cessna 150 airplane. No problem, sir. Michael devoured a total of 9 tons of metal during his lifetime. In case you were wondering, Michael suffered from a condition called pica. It made him want to eat human indigestible things and objects like glass, dirt, metal, filth, and almost everything else that normal humans wouldn't even think of. A table of Michael's dinner would generally include a broken bulb, some screws, and a few bolts dressed with a dash of fresh salad. The Tito met his end on June 25, 2007 at the age of 57. The reason of his death is still widely speculated, but the official documents say natural causes. John Brower Minnock was so immense a person that they could never use a scale to weigh him, but the best estimates suggest that John was 1,400 pounds at the peak, or rather bottom, of his health. That's the weight of a 1992 Subaru Vivio, and no man should be as heavy as an oversized hatchback. Born in September 1941, John weighed 294 pounds or 133 kilograms by the time he was 12. At 22, he was 6'1" and weighed 500 pounds, which is equal to 230 kilograms. At the age of 36, he suffered a respiratory failure and cardiac arrest and had to be hospitalized. He recovered in hospital and in the same year was married to 100-pound Jeanette, owning the record for the greatest difference of weight between a married couple. The doctors identified the retention of extracellular fluid in his body as the chief cause of his acute obesity. At one point, endocrinologist Dr. Schwartz estimated that over 900 pounds or 408 kilograms of his body weight was retained fluids, which very well might be another record in itself. It would take a total of 13 men to roll John over from one side of the bed to the other. He died from edema at the age of 41. When Jonathan Lee Riches stepped out of prison, the purpose of his life became clear like a mirror. He could see the truth like nobody else could. He challenged the norms and almost everybody around him. And he did it the legal way, by filing lawsuits on anyone and anything that he disagreed with or disapproved of. Over the next few years of his life, he filed 4,000 lawsuits on companies and individuals. Here's the fun part. When Riches came to know that the Guinness World Records had recognized his achievement, he sued them for it. The story started in December 2012 after Riches was released from prison. At one point, he had started including the copyright symbol against his signature to make sure only genuine cases were recorded. The incredible achievement of Jonathan Lee Riches earned him the title of Superman.
Superman.
And by the looks of it, he wasn't scared of absolutely anybody. He sued President George W. Bush, Bill Gates, and even Pope Benedict XIV. He didn't even spare the likes of Britney Spears and Steve Jobs. Talk about a man on a mission. You have to burn a lot of oil if you want your name featured in the Guinness World Records, and you have to be some kind of a whiz to make a name simply for breaking established records. Meet Ashrita Furman. This gentleman is no ordinary record holder. He has the Guinness World Record for the most Guinness World Records by an individual. He has set about 600 records till now, and at least 226 of them are still valid. If you were to linger anywhere close to Furman's legacy, you virtually have to rewrite the history of Guinness World Records. Try one of his rather recent records, slicing a record number of 26 watermelons on his stomach in 1 minute. Ashrita was non-athletic as a child, but was always fascinated by the Guinness Book of World Records. His life took a forever turn when he met the spiritual leader Sri Chinmoy. You have to make a very strong case for us to believe that someone else will break 600 records to match Furman's fury. Here's one name that needs introduction only if you've been living under a rock. Michael Phelps has a Guinness World Record that we do not hope to see getting beaten in our lifetimes. Phelps as an individual has 28 Olympic medals in his closet. 23 of those are gold. The 3 silver and 2 bronze medals only prove that the athlete was human. And it's not just the number of medals that he flaunts. He has set individual records in events like the 100-meter butterfly, 200-meter butterfly, and 400-meter individual medley. He's formerly held records in 200-meter individual medley and 200-meter freestyle. Phelps has a total of 86 medals in major international competitions. 65 of them smell like pure gold. Even for an incredibly competent athlete, breaking Phelps' record of winning gold medals will be a wild goose chase. You don't just have to perform insanely, but also participate in events that give you the chance of winning multiple medals. Honestly, such sports are pretty rare within the Olympics. And then Michael Phelps has participated in 5 Olympic Games, with pretty much the same fire and intensity. We are sticking our neck out here. This is one record that will never be broken. Like we have seen so far, some records are purely a matter of chance. No one in their right mind should ever try to lock horns with these. Take the example of Matt Suter, the man who accidentally set the record books ringing by surviving the longest distance thrown by a tornado. This insane record was set on March 12, 2006, when Matt Suter was inside his mobile home in Fordland, Missouri. Suter was caught inside a tornado that threw his body 398 meters, or 1,305 feet away from where he started. The ride on the back of the tornado left Suter unconscious for a while. Upon regaining consciousness, he had a few minor injuries and a new Guinness World Record pinned to his name. In the interest of general safety, we hope you never get near this record, or near a tornado for that matter. Nadia Suleiman is no ordinary woman. She is a well-known media personality who is now called the Octomom. The reason? She gave birth to all of 8 children, 6 boys and 2 girls, in a successful cesarean section surgery. Nadia's octuplets are only the second in US history and the first to survive after birth. The birth of the octuplets was not free from controversy though. It was soon discovered that Suleiman was already the mother of 6 younger children at the time of the birth and was unemployed too. She had given birth through in vitro fertilization. The survival of human octuplets is a rare medical feat. Since medical science is evolving, we are guessing that it will become more common in the days to come, but Suleiman will have her name attached to the record for a long time, if not forever.